KnifeDope. More dope. Come and get your fix. What's up, fuckers? Your boy's back with a fresh batch of dope. KnifeDope. That's right, people. The hits don't stop. You know, I was sitting here in the middle of making some content for y'all, part of my 2023 wrap-up, and the mail lady came by the crib with 2 fresh batches of dope. You know the hits don't stop. And so therefore, I immediately stopped what I was doing to accommodate her and figured, fuck it, let's see what it's all about. Okay, we've got one that I just made purchase on the secondary. Big shout out to my partner, Mr. Charles, otherwise known as Pocket Slicer. Highly advised that you guys give him a follow on IG, for he's got a fantastic collection and he's even more of a fantastic guy. So that is Pocket Slicer on IG. And then I went ahead and got something coming from River's Edge Cutlery. Big shout out to Brian and the crew at River's Edge. So we're going to get into both of these, but let's go ahead and check this one out first. You know, like I mentioned, Mr. Charles is a good friend of mine at this point, and he gave me a fantastic deal on this knife. So I didn't have a choice. I had to do it. Today's unboxing knife is this one. Pure American Heat right here. This is the 15V rendition of the Spyderco Shaman, rocking these gorgeous Rich Light Cerberus scales. All USA build here. And let's see what this hoe can do. You know, the Shaman at one point was my favorite model from Spyderco, but I don't know if that's still the case. You know, I think I might have another favorite. But enough about that. Let's get to the dope. All right, one thing I can assure you, this is not a Benchmade. This is actually a prototype to a knife that just dropped. And let's see what's going down. There you fuckers have it. This is the prototype of the Lush. Now, you know, the Lush dropped, I think, 2-3 days ago, and it is sold out. But the reason I didn't pull the trigger on that was I was given a fantastic, amazing deal on this prototype version. And I couldn't resist, and I didn't feel that I needed both versions. So let's go ahead and check this one out. All right, not bad. Now the prototype versus the actual production version, I think there's a couple of things that changed. Namely, I think they increased this front flipper, and then I feel like they may have done something else. I think I had spoke to Lefty about it. This prototype also isn't in S90V. This prototype is in 20CV. But for the price I was given, this was a no-brainer. So big thank you to Charles. I now have the prototype of the Lush is now in the collection. So there we have that package. But this is what it's really all about. This is one that I couldn't resist. You know, to be honest with you, I really didn't feel like I needed to do this, but I did it any goddamn ways. So let's see what this is all about. You know, River's Edge Cutlery has been great to me. You know, I've developed a lot of relationships with some of these, you know, these knife distributors. And, you know, this is probably one of my most prized relationships. Brian has been instrumental in me acquiring many knives, and he seems to be like a great guy. So let's see what Brian's got for me today. We've got this looks like a new pen. This is like a new configuration of their pen. Normally it's a green avocado one. And then we've got something that we'll get into here momentarily as well. Remember what I told you fuckers about this butcher paper? Whenever they wrap the dope in the butcher paper, best believe it's pure dope. Shit. What you know about that, y'all? That is the Brian Brown Knives logo. And we are looking at the REC exclusive version of the Yeager version 3. So this is the Yeager-M Flipper version 3, REC exclusive. Oh she looks good. Now, right out the gate, I can already see that we've got very similar vibes. Granted, there are a few things that have been changed since version 2. Namely, what they did on this version 3 as opposed to version 2 is they now have a captive pivot. If you are familiar with version 2, they did not have that, and so at times it could be troublesome or be an issue when it came to trying to disassemble the knife. Also, they did a upgrade on the torque size for your pivot on the lock side of the knife. They went up to a T15. And then if you decided to go with a one of the versions that has inlays, they now went ahead and gave you full size inlays on both sides of the knife. But this version here does not have the inlays. This one came in at $474. Now, the main reason why I pulled the trigger on this was I had a $100 credit at River's Edge Cutlery that was burning a hole in my goddamn pocket. So I ended up paying only $374 for this. This is 4.3 inches in the closed position. We've got this beautiful bronze titanium with this nice jig pattern on both sides of the handle. Frame lock is the locking mechanism. Now, something that I have here on this version that I didn't have on the version 2 is this is a flipper. I did not have a flipper on version 2 of mine. Let's go ahead and deploy the knife. Okay, same nice D10. This D10 feels a little bit lighter than the version 2, but there you see it in the open position. We're looking at 7.5 inches overall. We've got the same blade steel as version 2, which is this M390 steel. Nice deep hollow grind. This version's actually got the black PVD coating finish. However, this one looks like they did a nice tumble job on it, which I'm all about. I'm not the biggest PVD fan, but if you throw a nice tumble on it, I'm with it. Let's go ahead and try that flipper out. All right, not bad. Yeah, you know, I'm not into flippers by any means, but this isn't bad. This might be a candidate for a flipper delete. Now, this version also has got the zirconium highlights, or accessories, we should say. We've got the zirconium pocket clip, almost a deep full carry, as well as this full length back spacer. And then they also gave us the pivot collars are also in zirconium. Great looking knife. Weight on this came in at 4.7 inches. We've got 3.2 inches on our blade length. And these are OEM by Riyadh, if you didn't know. And once again, great job as far as that goes. First up, let's go ahead and put up the version 2 from my collection. And there you see that side by side up against the newest version of it. And you can see for the most part, you know, it is almost identical. And to be quite honest with you, that had seemed to be one of the biggest consensus people were stating as to why they weren't purchasing this version 3, was that there wasn't much changes. Yeah, they gave us a bunch of different exclusives, and so therefore you had different, you know, variations of the knife, but in essence, it was the same knife. However, I ain't give a fuck about all that. I ended up pulling the trigger once again. So there you see it up against version 2. Now let's go ahead and put up some other knives for some size comparison. Basically give you all a better idea of the overall size of this Yeager. First up, more Grail knife vibes. We're coming in with this one. This is the Christensen Knife Works Maverick S. So there you see it up against that. How about a recent acquisition? We're looking at the Todd Knife and Tool Roxy 3. So there you see that Yeager up against that. Let's do 2 more. God damn it, 2 more. How about some more REC exclusive vibes? We're coming through with the Spyderco PM2. So there you see that up against that. Last but certainly not least, the unofficial overseas knife of the channel. You know her name, you've seen her before. We're looking at the CJRB Echo. So there you see the Yeager up against that. You know, I'm good with the purchase. You know, granted, I knew that there wasn't much of a change. If you know, at least aesthetically, there would seem to be no change. But I'm okay with that. You know, this is still a great knife. OEM by Riyadh, like I mentioned. Let's see what they gave us. What's this? This is just Brian Brown information. This appears to be the actual COA. So there you see that. You know, but one thing I would notice too is that they seem to be moving a lot slower than version 2 was. Version 2 sold out and was highly sought out. You know, and up until this recent drop of the version 3, you know, it was, if you found them online, they would seem to go rather quick. But, you know, I think the knife market has changed quite a bit from when version 2 initially dropped. So obviously you got to consider that. But yeah, not bad. Part of the collection now. Don't necessarily know if this one will stick around. I don't think I'm going to keep both. I think that either one of them might go. But who knows, man? Now that it's here, I may keep them both. But more importantly, I want to know what you fuckers think. Are you digging this new version of the Yeager? How about that Lush? Tell me all about it. Love you, mean it. Until the next time. Cut something, cut someone. Just don't cut yourself. Stay dangerous, fuckers.